Hey forum, my name is Manny, aka CascadeScents. Welcome to another video. As you see by the title, this one is on my best bad boy fragrances. And yes, I know you might be wondering what exactly makes a bad boy fragrance or scent. And simply put, I think it's one that you would spray on, and then when you go out in it or when you walk into a room with it, it evokes this kind of vibe that makes you feel like you're the subject of envy. Like when people smell that stuff, they're just going to think that you're oozing cool, you're oozing courage, a kind of courage maybe that they wish they had themselves. And hey, scent is super powerful, so maybe it provides you with quite the morale boost when you're talking to certain people. But of course, results will vary regardless of the situation. Everything else matters. Personality, physique, attire, the list goes on. But more often than not, scent can't hurt. So that's why this list is here for you, and hopefully you can get something out of it. So without further ado, we might as well get to our first bad boy fragrance of the list. This one is Aventus, or Aventus by Creed. Now, I think this one's a pretty obvious pick because if you are familiar with the scent, you will know that it takes a note in pineapple, which is typically seen as tropical and jovial, but makes it ooze coolness, you know, in a way that seems super versatile regardless of the situation that you need this stuff in. So if you're feeling a little extra and you want to wear it for work, or if you want to wear it as your signature, say if you're just going to the grocery store or doing some paperwork or whatnot, maybe that's you. Maybe you're that guy who likes to wear Aventus on the regs. Typically for me though, I'll reserve this for more of my night outs regardless of the season that I am in. That being said, it is a Creed and their flagship scent at that, so it is not cheap and subject to change from batch to batch, almost year to year too. So if you can do research on this scent before buying it, definitely do so. A little bit more than any other scent out there. But hopefully whichever iteration of this scent you do acquire will do you as well as this R1 batch right here for me. So yeah, if you didn't already know, now you know. Again, it's Aventus or Aventus by Creed on this bad boy fragrances list. Moving on to the next fragrance now, and this one is by none other than Viktor and Rolf. It's the OG version of Spice Bomb. Now, Spice Bomb, equally legendary in its own right as a more night out and club going king for the more wintry times of the year. It's just that explosive of a scent that you probably don't want to reach for this on more warmer nights or warmer days. I just feel like the sheer explosiveness from that spices that give it its name is just going to be a little too much for most people around you and potentially yourself as well, choking out yourself in your own scent cloud and all. So we're talking a cornucopia of spices here. You got some saffron, you got some pink pepper, and most importantly, that cinnamon that's going to add warmth to the scent overall. It also gets warmer towards the base too with this white leather accord as well as tobacco. So if people do catch a whiff of some of the more explosive parts of this scent, as soon as they come in, I feel like they're furthermore going to be enchanted with some of those, again, warmer accords. That being said, it is called Spice Bomb for a reason, so it is a rather big scent. So you definitely have to watch your spray count here. But yeah, give it a shot for your cooler nights out if you have yet to. Definitely a scent that when you walk into a room with that you're either envied, if not feels notorious in. So you gotta love its reputation for that. Again, it's Spice Bomb by Viktor and Rolf. Now moving on to the next fragrance. This one is by Guerlain. It's called Louis. Now while the aforementioned Spice Bomb is spicy and warm, this stuff is spicy and mysterious, if that makes any sense. Here you have a more old worldly vintage approach to spice. So you're getting what comes off of your skin almost like clove, and then when you add a little bit of that carnation here, which Guerlain used to famously use in previous scents of Old 2, and yeah, you have this beautiful vintage spicy bomb. But the thing is, this stuff is more like a love letter to those kind of scents, so while you do have reminiscence of some of that vintage inspired feel, it also feels modernized with how it dries down in that benzoin note. Benzoin being a more intoxicating resin, kind of smelling like vanilla, but boozier, if that makes any sense. So with that sophisticated approach that Guerlain, of course, would be known for, I feel like this is equally an awesome night out favorite, but depending on you, this is one you might want to reserve for maybe a lounge, if that makes any sense. While this one right here in Spice Bomb might be more reserved for a party and or a club atmosphere. So yeah, I'd say it's a little bit more of a grown man kind of badass. That being said, since it's a non-mainline Guerlain, this stuff is also not cheap at 50 mLs. Heck, I even bought it at retail, but that means you know I think it's personally worth it. So if you also want to support the art at its core, definitely do so. But for whatever reason, I guess this stuff is not moving a heck of a whole lot just because you can actually find this on the discount level, and at this level oh so prominently, because check out some of these rates. As of July 2020, I feel like this scent going for 67% off-ish, I think is insane. So not only do I think that this stuff is perhaps the best blended scent on this list or is up there, there, I definitely think that you can have it at the best deal too. Again, it's Louis by Guerlain. Now moving on, and speaking of great deals in fragrances, or just fragrances in general, we love them, but they're not exactly essentials. If that were the case, everyone would use them daily, even people outside of us fragrance enthusiasts, but of course you know that's not the case. But what actually is a necessity, what you actually do need, is a good wallet. But not just the wallet, the future of wallets. Behold the Parliament wallet by Exer. Yes, I know, quite the segue. The Parliament is the sleekest, sexiest, most functional wallet by Exer to date. Let me show you. Here you have that minimalist design, so you only have and carry what you need. It's 2020 anyway, so gone are the days of holding that much cash on you and that many cards, especially with the world getting more digital and all. But if you still need your more essential of physical cards on you, at least make a conversation out of it. Like, come on guys, check this out. Like, come on, that mechanism is so cool. The pusher is sleek and discreet with that sexy motion, so there you can just pull a card out that you need at any given time. Again, without having to shuffle through your old exploding bifold wallet, George Costanza style. Imagine pulling up to a date with that. Not sexy, not badass. That being said, what also sets apart the Parliament wallet from other RFID blocking wallets out there is this guy. Slide the optional tracker card into the back of wallet like this, nice and snug. And now there's no losing this thing once you sync the card to the corresponding Chipolo app on your smartphone. Like, in case you lose it, you can actually track wherever it is. So if you don't believe me, let me show you. And again. And doesn't stop there, which I guess is good for me because, believe it or not, I seldom lose my wallet, but I do lose my phone quite a lot. And if I were to use the button on the tracker card, I can actually track my phone too, just in case I lose this thing. So check this out. Bruh, what else do you need? On top of that, you get the best part of leather here that is used for the most part. That top grain, very buttery. It's going to give you a nice personalized patinaed look over time. So when it ages, it just looks even better and better. So if you're in the market for a new wallet or you want to upgrade to the Parliament. And hell, if you're like me, you can even go further more minimalist like this right here in the Senate. You know, without the flap and a more essentials driven design. So big thanks to Exer for these and for sponsoring this video, and to you guys as always for watching. And just to show you my appreciation, we also have a discount code for you too, again link in the description below. Anyway, moving on to the next fragrance on this bad boy list. This is a community favorite. It's Ankara Noir by Lalique. Now what's really cool about Ankara Noir is that at its core it is definitely a vetiver scent, but it's a vetiver scent that's not just for vetiver lovers out there, because people who might be not so enchanted by vetiver might find it a little bit more boring. Like, sure, it's typically seen as sophisticated in most of the offerings it's prominently featured in, but sometimes it's just not that exciting. Maybe it's too clean cut, maybe it's bland in an earthy way, maybe it's too professional. But here it's exciting, and I like to think of it as a more bad boy vetiver. Like, somehow with the greener and woodier accords here, like cypress and cashmere wood, they're able to take the rooty vetiver note and make it smell kind of like ink, believe it or not. So Ankara Noir, black ink, you get it. Believe it or not, it does come off as somewhat seductive in an unexpected, mysterious way, so you have to love it for that. But I do also get it if you are used to more lighter approaches to perfumery and you just feel like this is a little too much. But hey, if you are a vetiver lover out there and you are used to the more terre de mezes of the world, the great vetivers, the Carvin vetivers, or the Guerlain vetivers, and you are open to trying new things and perhaps want something a little bit more built for the night out, I think this stuff right here is perfect. So can't go wrong with it. Its reputation speaks for itself. It's Ankara Noir by Lalique. Now moving on to the second last scent for this bad boy list of fragrances, and this might be the most bad boy scent depending on who you ask. This one's called Avignon by Comme des Garçons. Now, if you know anything about the third series by Comme des Garçons based on incense, you would know that each of these incense scents are based on different world religions. This one in Avignon being Catholicism, so I think this is a badass scent if you are one of those types. Not clergyman or anything, but maybe one that is obsessed with the dead or haunted stuff. You know, if you came up on certain bands and or just dressed exclusively from stuff at Hot Topic at one point in your life, life and you've graduated into something a little bit more sophisticated since, maybe if you're that type, you'd probably want to check something like this out. Like wearing this smoky church incense of a scent just makes me want to cave into doing things that I typically don't have the courage to do. And I think that's what badass is, just being unabashed and just doing whatever. So yeah, I have an authentic take on incense, and I guess an alternative take for the sake of perfumery on incense is something that you might want to get into. Definitely check this out if you've yet to. It's called Avignon by Comme des Garçons. And last but not least, moving on to the final scent of this bad boy fragrances list. You cannot leave this brand off this list. We're talking about Tom Ford. This one is called Ombre Leather. While I could have picked another Tom Ford scent, the reason I picked this one in Ombre Leather is I've just been most enchanted by it recently. Like, it's more straightforward take on leather, just feels more of a black leather jacket in comparison to its older brother in Tuscan leather, which is way more sophisticated, especially with that fruity opening. Like here, it's dead ass a liquid leather jacket, and that's pretty much it because of how linear it is. And while I might not wear a lot of leather myself, I sometimes like to make up for that by smelling like it. So definitely come the fall or winter time, I'll definitely be rocking this on night outs to the pub or something like that. And while I do think that this is one of the more simpler scents on the list, and maybe one that I'm not the most enchanted with overall with, it's definitely the one that I definitely think is the most badass. Like when it comes to community favorites, maybe barring Aventus, if I'm thinking bad boy fragrances, I have to think of the Tuscan leather DNA. And again, to make that more badass, just make it more straightforward, less saffron, less fruit, more leather jacket. That to me is this stuff right here. So once again, the final bad boy scent of this list, check it out if you've yet to already. Again, it's Ombre Leather by Tom Ford. But there it is for them. That about does it for my overall best bad boy fragrances list. It's a time of the video where I want to know from you, what are your favorite bad boy fragrances, and also what you think of my bad boy fragrances. Please let me know in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by giving this video a like too. Also, I want to know from you if you enjoyed this list, so let me know by giving this video a thumbs up if so. And if you really enjoyed this video and you want to get more, also consider subscribing as well as pounding that notification bell so you don't miss any of these in the near future. Until then, thanks again for watching, and that about does it for me. Take care for now. Peace out. Bye. Where are your fragrances?